The Boy Who Fell from the Sky. It was a quiet night in the small town of Raven Creek. The sky was clear, full of stars. A teenage boy named Alex Carter, 16 years old, was sitting on the roof of his house, looking at the sky. He loved the stars. They made him feel small but also curious. What's out there? Suddenly, a flash of blue light ripped across the sky. Boom! Something crashed into the forest just outside the town. Birds flew away. The ground shook a little. Alex jumped up. His heart started beating fast. "What was that?" he whispered. He quickly climbed down and grabbed his flashlight. He didn't tell anyone. Not his mom, not his sister. He wanted to see it first. 10 minutes later, Alex was deep inside the forest. It was dark and quiet. He walked slowly, following the smoke and burned trees. Then he saw it. A small silver pod, half buried in the ground. It was glowing with a soft blue light. The door of the pod was open. Smoke was coming out. Alex stepped closer, holding his breath. Then he heard a sound. A soft cry. A small figure crawled out of the pod. It was a boy, but not a normal one. His skin was silver blue. His eyes were big and glowing. His clothes looked torn and alien. He had small cuts on his arms. Alex froze. The alien boy looked at him, scared. Then he whispered in a weak voice, "Help me, please. My mom is kidnapped. Taken by slavers, please." Alex didn't move. He was in shock. Was he dreaming? What? "Who are you?" Alex asked. "I'm Zarn," the alien boy said, struggling to stand. "They chased us. My mom. She made me escape. She is still with them." Alex saw the fear in Zarn's eyes. He wasn't dangerous. He was just a kid like him. Alex ran forward and helped him up. Zarn's skin was cold, like metal, but soft. "We need to hide," Zarn said. "They might follow." "Who?" Alex asked. "The slavers," Zarn said. "They don't stop. They take people." They took her. Alex helped Zarn walk. They found a small cave nearby and hid there. Zarn was weak. He had a small round device on his wrist. It was broken and sparking. Alex gave him water and food from his bag. "Why did they take your mom?" Alex asked. "She was a rebel," Zarn said softly. "She fought against them. She tried to free the other slaves. They caught her. They wanted to catch me too. But she pushed me into the pod." Zarn's eyes filled with tears. "She told me to find help. To find a human." "A human?" Alex said. "Why?" "She believed in your kind," Zarn said. "She said humans have strong hearts." Alex didn't know what to say. He was just a normal kid. What could he do? Still, something inside him felt right, like this was his moment. Suddenly, Zarn's device blinked red. "They're coming," he said. "They found me." Alex stood up quickly. "We have to move." "No," Zarn said. "You should go. They only want me." "I'm not leaving you," Alex said. "You asked for help. I'll help." They ran through the forest, hiding behind trees and rocks. Strange lights appeared in the sky, searchlights. A ship was floating above the trees, dark and silent. Then a shape moved on the ground. Tall, thin, with long arms and glowing eyes. It wasn't human. One of the slavers had landed. Alex and Zarn held their breath as the creature passed near them. It sniffed the air. Then it turned its head straight toward them. Alex grabbed a rock and threw it far away. Crash! The sound distracted the slaver. It turned and moved toward the noise. "Now!" Alex whispered. They ran the other way, deeper into the forest. Finally, they reached Alex's old treehouse. He used to play there as a kid. It was hidden and strong. They climbed up. Zarn collapsed, breathing hard. Alex looked at him. "We'll figure something out." Zarn opened his wrist device. It showed a broken map and a red blinking dot. "My mom is here," he said. "This is where they're keeping her." The map showed a strange symbol, near the edge of the country. "We need help," Alex said. "But not from the police." "Why not?" Zarn asked. "They'll just lock you up," Alex replied. "They don't understand." Outside, the The slaver ship passed over the treehouse slowly, scanning. Inside, two boys from two worlds looked at each other. One was full of fear. The other was full of questions. But both knew this was only the beginning. The morning sun was rising slowly, casting golden light over the rooftops of Raven Creek. Inside the old wooden treehouse, Alex sat with his back against the wall, watching the strange alien boy sleep. Zarn's skin glowed faintly in the dim light, and his chest rose and fell with quiet breaths. Despite everything that had happened last night, the crash, the chase, the slaver, Alex still couldn't believe any of it was real. He looked at the wrist device on Zarn's arm. It was still broken, wires sticking out like veins. The red blinking dot was still there, unmoving. Somewhere far away, Zarn's mother was still a prisoner. Alex took a deep breath. He had to do something. But what could he do? He was just a kid. He had no weapons, no spaceship, no plan. Just fear. And now responsibility. Suddenly, Zarn opened his eyes. He looked around, confused for a moment, then his gaze found Alex. "We're still alive," he said softly. "Yeah," Alex nodded. "Barely." Zarn sat up slowly. He touched his device, wincing slightly. "They'll come back." "Not right now," Alex replied. "We're hidden. For now." Zarn stared at the floor. "We need to find my mom. She's strong, but she can't fight them alone." Alex nodded again, thinking, "I know someone who can help us. My cousin, Max. He's different. Not normal different, smart different. He builds machines in his garage. Maybe he can fix that thing on your arm." Zarn blinked. "You trust him?" Alex hesitated, then said, "He's the only person I trust with something like this." The two boys left the treehouse after checking the skies. The slaver ship was gone, but the air still felt strange. As they walked through the woods, Alex kept glancing over his shoulder. Every branch creak, every bird chirp sounded like danger. They reached the back road that led to Max's house. It was a quiet place near the edge of town, where no one came without a reason. Max lived alone with his father, who worked nights and rarely spoke to anyone. When they knocked, the door creaked open. Max stood there in a black hoodie, his eyes wide behind thick glasses. "Alex," he said, "it's 7 in the morning. Are you?" Then he saw Zarn. "What the hell?" Alex stepped forward. "Don't freak out. I need your help. It's a long story." Max blinked, then stepped aside. "Okay, now I'm interested." Inside, the house smelled like oil and metal. Tools and wires were scattered everywhere. Max led them to his workshop in the garage. Zarn looked around curiously, touching strange devices with quiet wonder. Alex explained everything quickly. The crash, the slavers, Zarn's mother, the device. Max listened carefully, not interrupting once. When Alex finished, Max let out a long whistle. "Well," he said, "this is either the craziest lie I've ever heard, or the coolest thing that's ever happened to you." Zarn stepped forward. "Can you fix it?" Max knelt in front of him, examining the device. "Give me an hour. Maybe 2. Don't touch anything in here." Alex and Zarn sat on the floor while Max worked. Zarn watched him, fascinated by his hands and tools. "He's gifted," Zarn whispered. "On my planet, he would be called a thinker." Alex smiled. "On Earth, we just call him a nerd." 2 hours later, Max stood up and stretched. "It's not perfect," he said, "but it should work. I bypassed the broken circuits and connected the core to an external power loop. It'll drain fast, but you'll get a strong signal for maybe 30 seconds. Zarn pressed a button on the device. A blue light burst out, floating in the air like smoke. Shapes formed, ships, planets, lines of coordinates. Then it zoomed in on one location, a facility on a desert planet. Gray towers, electric fences, and small glowing dots, prisoners. "That's where she is," Zarn said quietly. Then the image flickered. One of the dots blinked red. Zarn's eyes widened. "That's her. She's alive, but injured." Alex stood frozen, staring at the image. It was real. All of it. He could see it now, proof in front of him. Max stepped back. "So what now?" Before Alex could answer, the garage lights flickered. The windows rattled. Outside, a low humming sound filled the air. Zarn stood up fast. They found us. The lights died completely. Max cursed and grabbed a metal rod. Alex grabbed Zarn's arm. We have to move. Out the back. They ran through the back door just as a shadow passed over the house. A shape descended from the sky, tall, dark, mechanical. A hunter. His eyes glowed red. Alex didn't look back. They ran into the trees behind the house, dodging branches, feet pounding the dirt. Behind them, something landed, boom, and began to follow. Keep running, Alex shouted. Zarn suddenly turned around and raised his wrist. Don't, Alex yelled. But Zarn pressed a button. A burst of blue energy fired from the device, hitting the ground between them and the hunter. It exploded in a bright flash. The hunter screamed, a horrible metallic noise, and fell back. Smoke filled the woods. Alex coughed and pulled Zarn forward. They kept running, away from the hunter, away from the house. But now they knew the truth. Zarn's mother was alive, and the slavers would never stop chasing them. Not until they were caught, or the war began. The forest was still burning behind them. Smoke rose like fingers into the sky. The hunter's screech still echoed in Alex's ears as he and Zarn ran through the trees, branches cutting their arms, the smell of fire and fear following close behind. They didn't stop until their legs gave up. By then, they were miles from Max's house. They sat by a river, both breathing hard. Zarn's glowing skin had faded to a dull blue. The blast from his device had drained its power. Alex looked at the water, then at Zarn. Are you okay? Zarn nodded slowly. I used too much energy. That was my only defense shot. Alex wiped his forehead. You saved us. No, Zarn said. I only bought us time. They will send more. Alex felt a chill go through his body. We need to hide. Somewhere no one can find us. Zarn was quiet for a moment. Then he looked up. You said your people had a place, forgotten. No one goes there. Alex thought for a second. Then his eyes lit up. The old cold, hollow military base. Zarn tilted his head. What is it? It was shut down years ago. People say it's haunted or dangerous. But it's still there, outside town, surrounded by forest and hills. No one dares go near it. Then we go there, Zarn said. They traveled by night using narrow paths and avoiding roads. Zarn walked slower now, weak from the energy blast. But they didn't stop. Not when they heard distant hums in the sky. Not when they saw strange lights flickering in the clouds. Something was searching for them. After hours of walking, they reached Cold Hollow. The entrance was covered in vines and rust. The fence was broken in some places. Old signs read, "No entry, government property." The building beyond was a gray shadow in the moonlight. Alex climbed over the fence first. Then he helped Zarn through. The air inside felt different. Heavy, cold, full of forgotten memories. They entered through a broken door. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Metal doors hung off their hinges. Wires dangled from the ceilings. There were strange symbols on the walls. Zarn touched them and frowned. This place, it was touched by something not human, he said. Alex felt goosebumps rise on his arms. What do you mean? Zarn walked slowly, placing his hand on the walls. Some of your kind made contact with others. Long ago, they built things together. Machines, experiments. Then they were told to stop. But some didn't. They moved deeper into the base, into underground halls. The air got colder. Finally, they reached a sealed door with strange writing above it. Not English. Not anything Alex had ever seen. Zarn's eyes widened. This is slaver language. Alex stepped back. What? Why would slaver writing be here? Zarn didn't answer. He touched the panel beside the door. It lit up. A small blue light scanned his hand. Then the door opened. Inside was a large round room. In the center stood a tall, black machine shaped like a ring. It was dead, silent, but somehow alive at the same time. A portal gate, Zarn said softly. Alex stared at it. A real one? Yes, it was built with slaver tech. Maybe stolen. Maybe traded. Zarn looked around. But someone tried to hide it. Alex stepped closer to the gate. There were wires everywhere. Some were cut. Some looked fresh, recently used. Someone had been here. Suddenly, a light blinked in the corner of the room. A small terminal turned on by itself. Zarn walked to it and pressed a button. A hologram flickered to life. A man's face appeared. His eyes were cold. His voice was slow and calm. If you're seeing this, the man said, then the alien boy survived. Alex's mouth dropped. Is that? Zarn whispered. General Harrow. The hologram continued. We made a deal with the slavers years ago. Technology for freedom. They promised to leave Earth alone. But the boy's mother broke that deal. She stole data. She exposed things. Now they want her. And him. The message ended. Alex stepped back, stunned. Your government worked with them? He asked. Not all, Zarn said. But some did. That man, he's a traitor to your kind. And mine. They both turned to the portal gate. It flickered. Just once. A soft pulse of light. Zarn stepped forward. They activated the link again. Maybe by mistake. Maybe on purpose. But it's open now. We can use it. To where? Alex asked. To their world, Zarn replied. To the slave city. Where my mother is. Alex's hands were shaking. We're not ready. Zarn looked him in the eyes. We don't have time to be ready. A deep sound came from above. Like a ship landing. Zarn turned to the portal. It's now or never. The portal began to glow. The ring lit up with symbols. Energy buzzed in the air like a rising storm. Alex took one step closer. The room behind them shook. Footsteps. More than one. The hunters had arrived. Zarn grabbed Alex's arm. And together, they jumped into the light. The light was blinding. For a moment, Alex felt like he was floating. There was no up, no down. Only white, hot wind around him. His ears rang, and his body felt like it was being pulled in every direction. Then everything stopped. He landed hard on cold ground. A loud thud echoed through the air. Alex groaned, opening his eyes. The sky above him was not the same. It wasn't blue. It wasn't even gray. It was a strange dark red, like the color of old blood. Faint stars blinked above like dying fireflies. Zarn lay beside him, breathing heavily. The portal behind them shimmered for one last second, then vanished into thin air. They were on another planet. It was quiet, too quiet. The land around them was cracked and dry. Sharp black rocks stuck out of the ground like broken teeth. Far in the distance, Alex could see a massive gray city, surrounded by walls and towers. Strange flying shapes circled above it, like birds, only faster and sharper. That's the slave city, Zarn said, standing slowly. They call it Drosar. It means the cage in their language. Alex felt a chill. That's where your mom is? Zarn nodded. And many others. As they started walking, Alex noticed strange machines buried in the ground. Half dead, covered in dust and wires. Some still moved just a little like they were watching. One of them turned its metal head slowly as they passed. Are they alive? Alex asked. They remember pain, Zarn said. But they won't hurt us, not yet. They walked for hours, hiding when ships passed overhead. The air was heavy and dry. Sometimes, the ground made strange sounds beneath their feet, like something was breathing under the surface. At the edge of a sharp cliff, they finally saw the full city. It was terrifying. Tall black towers rose into the sky. Lights blinked red from every wall. At the center, there was a huge pyramid made of glass and metal. Pulsed slowly, like a beating heart. Zarn crouched behind a rock, pointing. That building. That's where she is. The central core. High security. No escape once you're in. Alex's heart pounded. How do we get in? Zarn pulled a small disc from his belt. It unfolded into a map, a layout of the city. There are sewer tunnels below. Old escape paths used by rebels. Some were caught. Some disappeared. We go through the sewers? Alex asked, frowning. Zarn gave a small smile. You've done worse. They waited until nightfall, though it was hard to tell what night meant on a planet where the sky never fully darkened. They found the tunnel entrance behind a broken transport vehicle. A metal grate blocked the way, but Zarn melted it with a strange device. The smell that came from inside was worse than anything Alex had ever imagined. They climbed down. It was like entering the belly of a beast. The tunnels were wide but wet and hot. Pipes hissed. Water dripped from the ceiling. Creatures moved in the shadows. Alex held his breath and kept going. They walked for what felt like hours, turning corner after corner. Zarn used his device to guide them, but the map kept glitching. Then they heard footsteps. Voices. Not human. They hid behind a wall as two tall slaver guards passed by. They wore armor that looked like bone and spoke in sharp, growling sounds. One of them paused, sniffed the air, then moved on. When it was safe, Zarn whispered, "They're searching. They know someone came through the gate." "Us," Alex said. Zarn nodded. They kept going until they reached an old service door. Above it, glowing alien letters read, "Core Tower, Access B." Zarn pressed his hand to a scanner. Flashed red, then green. The door opened. Inside was a dark hallway lit by a dim blue light. They walked slowly, quietly. The walls had wires running like veins, pulsing with energy. Then they heard a voice. Faint, weak, a woman's voice. Zarn stopped. That's her. They followed the sound until they reached a chamber made of glass and steel. Inside, lying on a table, was a woman with silver blue skin, just like Zarn. Her arms were chained. Her face was bruised, but her eyes opened the moment she saw them. Zarn ran forward. "Mother!" But she shook her head quickly. No, it's a trap." The walls around them lit up in red. Sirens screamed. From every corner of the room, metal doors opened, and slaver guards poured in, weapons raised. Alex grabbed Zarn's arm, pulling him back. "We have to run." Zarn didn't move. He stared at his mother, tears in his eyes. "I came for you," he whispered. She struggled against her chains. "You have to go. They want you. You're more important than me." Alex looked around. They were surrounded. The only exit sealed shut. Then, a deep voice echoed through the room. Calm, slow, and full of poison. "So, the last rebel child returns." A tall figure stepped from the shadows. Its armor was dark silver, and its face was covered with a mask of wires. Behind its eyes burned a red glow. Zarn whispered the name like a curse. "The Collector." The creature stepped closer. "You have something that belongs to me, boy, and you brought a human with you. How interesting." Alex stepped in front of Zarn. He was shaking, but he didn't step back. He looked the Collector in the eye and said, "You'll never win." The Collector laughed. "I already have." Then everything went black, and the real nightmare began. Alex woke up in darkness. At first he thought he was blind, but slowly his eyes adjusted. The room was small. No windows, no doors, just metal walls that hummed like something alive. He tried to move, but his wrists were locked in glowing cuffs. His legs too. He was floating, held mid-air, like gravity had been turned off inside the room. He called out, voice weak. "Zarn!" No answer. Only silence. Then a sound. A hiss. The wall in front of him melted into a screen. A red circle blinked. Then a face appeared. Not human. Wires ran through the creature's skull. Its eyes were deep and empty. Its voice was slow and smooth, like oil on glass. "You are awake, human." Alex stared. "Where's Zarn? Where's his mother?" The voice didn't blink. "Safe for now." Alex struggled against the cuffs. "What do you want?" The screen zoomed in closer. "Your blood." Alex froze. "What?" The voice continued. "Zarn's mother spoke of you before we caught her. The human with the spark. The one whose DNA doesn't match your kind." "Curious, yes." Alex's heart pounded. "What are you talking about?" You are not fully human, the voice said. Alex shook his head. That's not true. Then explain this, the voice replied. Another screen appeared beside the first. It showed images, x-rays, blood scans, strange glowing patterns inside Alex's cells. You were born on Earth, the voice said, but not made for Earth alone. Alex felt cold all over. What does that mean? It means someone long ago, perhaps your father or someone before him, was not from your world. Alex couldn't breathe. My dad left when I was a baby. I never knew him. The screen went dark again. We will unlock your blood, the voice said. It may be the key, a bridge between species. With it, we can open all gates. Then, just like that, the room went silent again. Alex floated in the dark, heart racing, 100 questions burning in his mind. Meanwhile, in another part of the slaver city, Zarn was on his knees, bruised, tired, but not broken. He faced the collector. The tall creature stood over him, voice cold and sharp. You came all this way for your mother, the collector said. How touching. But do you even know what she is? Zarn looked up with hate in his eyes. She's a fighter. The collector laughed. She was more than that. She once sat at this very table, part of our science unit. She helped build the first slave engine. Zarn's breath caught. You're lying. She turned against us later, the collector continued. But by then, her knowledge was already ours. Zarn clenched his fists. You killed our people, he said. The collector stepped closer. And we will keep doing so, unless you give us what we want. Zarn said nothing. The collector turned away. The human boy. He carries a gift. One that doesn't belong to your kind or his. We want it. Zarn looked up. Then you'll have to kill me first. The collector paused. Then he smiled under his mask. No, little spark. We'll just make you watch. Back in the prison cell, Alex began to hear something strange. A whisper, like voices in the walls, calling his name. He opened his eyes, confused. Then a small panel in the ceiling opened. A single glowing eye peered down. Alex? A voice whispered. Alex blinked. Max! The eye disappeared. Then click, his cuffs powered down. He fell hard to the ground, but laughed with relief. A hatch opened in the floor, and Max's head popped out. Told you I could track that portal. Alex stared in disbelief. How did you even get here? Max grinned. You left your phone in my garage. Still had the alien chip I was testing. Traced the energy burst. Found an old rebel gate on Earth, barely active, but it worked. I came through this morning. You came alone? Max pulled Alex into the hatch. Not exactly. Inside the tunnel below, Alex saw 3 more figures. Rebel fighters, different species, scarred and silent. One of them nodded at Alex. You're the human, he said. The spark blood. We've been looking for you. Alex had no words. Max handed him a metal baton. We're getting your alien buddy and his mom. You in? Alex gripped the baton. His hands stopped shaking. I'm in. Deep inside the tower, Zarn sat in the cell beside his mother. Her eyes opened slowly. She smiled weakly. You shouldn't have come, she said. I couldn't leave you, he replied. I know, she whispered. But this fight is bigger than us. She turned to him. There is something about the human boy. You feel it too, don't you? Zarn nodded. He's not like the others. Her eyes grew serious. He's the last key. Before he could ask what she meant, the alarms blared. Explosion. Gunfire. Screams. Alex had arrived. And this time he wasn't running. This time he was ready to fight. Smoke and chaos filled the tower. Sirens screamed. Walls cracked. The ground shook as explosions rocked the slaver stronghold. Lights flickered. Metal groaned like it was alive. Alex ran through the corridor, the rebel fighters behind him. His grip tightened around the alien baton. He didn't know how to use it, but it felt right in his hand, like it already knew him. Max followed close, holding a strange scanner. We're near Zarn's cell. 30 meters and falling fast. Alex didn't speak. His eyes were locked on the path ahead. He had one mission now. Save Zarn, save his mother, and get everyone out. But the deeper they went, the stranger everything became. Walls whispered. Lights blinked in strange rhythms. Machines turned their heads to watch them pass. One of the rebels, a tall creature with copper skin, paused. This tower, it's alive. It's watching us. Alex looked up. He didn't say it out loud, but he felt it too. Like something inside the tower knew who he was. And it wasn't angry. It was curious. Zarn sat in the cell, holding his mother's hand. She was weak, breathing slowly, her skin dim. She's fading, he said. A voice answered from the shadows. Then you better hurry. Zarn turned sharply. Someone stepped into the dim light. Human, wearing military gear, clean, polished with an earth emblem on the chest. Zarn's eyes narrowed. Who are you? The man smiled. General Harrow. Zarn stood. You're supposed to be dead. Oh, I'm very much alive, Harrow said. And I've been working with the slavers for years. You think Earth survived by staying strong? No. We made deals. Gave them what they wanted. Kept the peace. You sold people, Zarn growled. We gave up a few to save the many, Harrow replied calm. And now we'll give up one more. He turned toward a screen, pressing a button. The boy, Alex. He's not human. Not fully. And his blood might open gates we've never dreamed of. Zarn clenched his fists. You're lying. No, Harrow said. I'm just better at reading the future. He turned back. But here's the twist, alien boy. You're going to help me catch him. Zarn stepped back. Never. You will, Harrow said, grinning. Because if you don't, your mother dies. Right here. Right now. He raised a small black device. One button. One breath away from ending everything. Zarn froze. You have 10 minutes, Harrow said. Lead him into the core chamber. Or she dies. Then he walked away. Meanwhile, Alex and the rebels reached the lower chamber. The scanner beeped rapidly. Max shouted, They're close. Alex nodded. Then we go. Suddenly, the floor beneath them opened. Metal claws burst from the ground, grabbing the copper-skinned rebel, pulling him down into darkness. The others scattered. Trap! Max yelled. Too late. Walls rose around them, separating the team. Alex found himself alone, locked in a narrow hallway that began to shift and move. The floor turned into a slow-moving belt, carrying him forward. He tried to stop it, but the walls pulsed with energy. He couldn't move against it. The hallway opened into a huge round chamber. Inside stood Zarn. Alone. Waiting. Alex froze. Zarn. Zarn looked tired. His eyes didn't meet Alex's. We don't have much time, Zarn said. There's a ship in the launch bay. We can escape through it. Alex stepped closer. Where's your mom? Zarn hesitated. Safe. For now. But we need to go. Something was wrong. Alex felt it in his chest. The room was too quiet. Zarn's voice sounded hollow. Then he saw it. A small red light blinking on Zarn's collar. Alex's heart dropped. You're being tracked. Zarn finally looked at him, pain in his eyes. I didn't want to, he said softly. But they'll kill her. Alex stepped back. You led me here. Zarn nodded, ashamed. They told me to stall you, to bring you in. But now, I can't do it. You have to run. Alex turned. Too late. The door slammed shut behind him. From above, General Harrow's voice echoed through the chamber. Well done, boy. You brought the spark straight to me. Alex looked up. A platform lowered from the ceiling. On it stood Harrow and the Collector. The creature stared at Alex like a prize. Begin extraction, it said. Machines rose from the floor. Sharp, cold, buzzing with energy. Alex stood still. Then, he closed his eyes, and something inside him woke up. The machines stopped. Lights around the room flickered. The walls groaned. Alex opened his eyes, now glowing faint gold. I don't know who or what I am, he said, voice deep and clear. But I know I'm not yours. He raised the baton Max gave him. It lit up like a sun. Zarn stared in shock. "What are you?" Alex spun. The machines exploded around him. The collector roared. "Contain him!" Too late. Power burst from Alex's body. Pure, bright, alien. The chamber cracked. Harrow stumbled back, shielding his eyes. Alex stepped forward, unchained, awake. "I came to save a friend," he said. "But now I'll end this." And the war truly began. The sky was falling apart, not with alarms howled like dying wolves. The Hunter-class ship dropped through the atmosphere like a falling god. The ground shook with every second. Wrapped in flame and silence. Red lights flashed across every hallway. Without warning, without sound. The collector's city, without once mercy. A perfect machine, no messages, was now cracking from the inside. It wasn't here to speak. In the center of it all stood Alex. It was here to no longer just a boy. Below, the camp was quiet. From his body, everyone had already chosen. The pulse sunk hid inside caves. Waves of energy breaking the machines around him. Faced the storm. His eyes were glowing. The girl who once had known him had transformed, climbed alone now to the peak floating of the beside him like a piece of living fire. Against the dust. Zarn stood body shaking, her breath slow. "You're not human." She stood with her eyes closed. Alex turned slightly, the wind tugging at her torn clothes. Zarn her skin still marked by wires and bruises. Then what's the other half? Around her, looked forward. The air crackled faintly. Across the chamber, inside her was General Harrow crawled away. Daniel stood behind her. Armor cracked. He didn't speak. He stared at Alex with wide, he just waited eyes. A shadow passed overhead. Wasn't the plan. The ship had arrived. Gasped. It hovered above them like a curse. Furious. Silent. Voice thundered. Lights along its belly glowed blue. This boy is not a spark. Targeting. He is a flame. Final measures. Harrow shook his head. It didn't land. No, it didn't need he was supposed to be controllable. Voice spoke across the valley. Alex's voice echoed through the wind. "You built cages for creatures you didn't understand. Test subject 73. Now the locks are broken. Your presence is in violation and launched forward. Submit Alex raised neutralized. Energy didn't move. The floor split open beneath the collector's feet. You don't have to face this alone. Chains of pure light wrapped around its limbs. I was alone in that cage for years." She screamed. But not loud anymore. Metallic. She took his hand, hateful, just for a moment. But it could not move. Then let go. Alex stepped forward and raised her hand every life you stole. "Stop calling me by their number." The collector's body began to break apart. The voice responded, "Not by force, you are an experiment. Its wires property of the ascendant armor crumbled." She smiled. In seconds, then let me show you what your property has become. Zarn stared. The wind howled suddenly. "You destroyed it, but not from nature," Alex said. From her. Her body waited from within. I just white light breaking through her skin. In the lower levels, Max fought alongside the rebels. Her eyes turned pure gold, freeing the prisoners. Her feet rose inches from the ground. Though weak, the ship had broken her chains and was guiding others through the escape routes. Lines of blue light. The city was collapsing. Even hope was rising. The blast struck were becoming white energy that formed around her turning into fire. Alex found Harrow trying to escape through a hidden gate. It absorbed it. The general turned, broken but still proud. One wave of her hand. "You think this ends with me?" The sky screamed. He said. The ship shook violently, hidden, sparks bursting from its engines. In other words, one wing caught fire. "You've just made yourself a metal turned red." Alex then peeled away as if torn by invisible claws. Harrow laughed. Inside the shitter and tired. Alarms screamed. "You don't even know what you understand." Alex she was never the weapon. Not she was the reaction. "But I know what I'm not." Down below, he reached out and touched Harrow's chest. Rocks light lifted into the air. Harrow collapsed. Daniel unshielded his eyes, but unconscious, watching the impossible. Alex didn't need the prisoners behind him. He just needed it to end one by one. Outside, they were no longer the sky watching of Drossar was filled. They were with watching something become legend. The blockade was broken. Eva rose higher. Towers fell like fire again. This time, with the city of cages was turning into a storm. The fire hit her. Zarn surrounded his mother into blinded the sky. She looked at Alex. Daniel feared she was gone. But from inside the storm, he heard her voice. Alex shook his head. "Clear. No, I remember my name." The light you were already outward in every direction. She smiled faintly. Silence You have no idea when it cleared. The hunter ship Alex looked at the red sky. Dead. "I have a feeling hit the edge of the ridge and shattered into the valley below." The rebels cheered. A broken shell of what once was power were falling. Eva drifted one by one. Gates she collapsed to her knees. Were shutting down. Daniel ran to Drossar, held her the cage planet was she looked up at free. Him. Her eyes Alex still stood glowing at the edge of the platform. "I'm tired." Wind blowing through his hair. "I know." Eyes on the stars. "But it's Zarn over." Stepped beside him. You're replied. "Not going back, are you?" "Now it starts." Alex shook his head. He helped her stand. Earth she turned to the crowd, and neither am I. Zarn looked at him, the forgotten. "Then what will you do?" She wasn't afraid of their eyes turned anymore. Toward the sky. They didn't see a weapon. Where stars shimmered they saw like open doors. A symbol. "I'll follow the someone who broke the system that wherever tried to erase her." A small child stepped forward,
Then we go
holding
together.
something out. Alex
It was a
raised
torn
his
patch.
hand. A portal device lit up
the
the prison uniforms. This time, not
On it was
stolen,
written in
not
a child's
forced,
handwriting,
but chosen.
EVA.
A new
Eva took
path
it,
opened, smiled,
and two boys,
and
one
tied it
alien,
around her
one
wrist.
something more, walked
Daniel
through it,
watched her walk
into the
forward.
unknown,
The girl
into
who
the
was
stars,
once a number
into
had
the
become
beginning,
a name,
a
of
fire,
everything else. A signal to the galaxy that humanity had not only survived, it had awakened. And this time it would never be caged again.